Hello guys, hello Philippines, hello world. I'm back. I am a singer, Eternal Voice. Okay, so this is my latest vlogging. 2 days or 3 days I did not do it because I'm so busy with other stuffs. But now I'm free, I have to do this. Okay, so I'll be talking about topics, though it is not long, but at least I can share to anybody else. Okay, especially if you are a first year college student now, you can listen to me for a while because it's very important in chemistry subject. Okay, that is if your topic now will be the topics that I'll be able to discuss with you now. Okay, but don't you worry, you have to listen only and get the basic concept out of it and you can apply in your subject, especially when you are dealing the particular lesson someday, or maybe it has been done already and you have to review and to listen to me so that you can understand properly, whatever like that. But I want you to be open-minded with this. You know, it's gonna be I could say it's not a long vlogging this time. Okay, so I will be able to talk about ionization and dissociation, something like that. Okay, this is very familiar in science, in pure science, talking about dissociation. Okay, if we said dissociation, there's a splitting of substances. Okay, from complex substances into a simpler substances. It could be like breaking down a compound into several products or byproducts, something like that. Okay, if you don't like science or chemistry, my gosh, please, you can stay away. This is an honest advice. But if you like chemistry and science, then you can listen to me a little bit, and there's no problem about that. Okay? What I'm telling to you guys is you should be honest and candid enough. Okay? If you don't like, then do not spare your time with me. And if you like, then the best you can listen to me. It's an option because this is academic information. This is very educational. This is not only an outing, something like a party, whatever. It is not like this. It is academic information input and very educational. If you want to listen to me because you love science subject, then you can listen to me now. Okay. Ionization from the root word is ion. Okay. Ion, what's ion? Okay. Ion can either be negatively charged ions or positively charged ions. Or it can be stated differently as negatively charged particle or positively charged particle. Now I will ask you, which is the negatively charged particle? What do you call that term? Negatively charged particle or negatively charged ion is an ion. Okay, just remember the word negative, then an is letter N. So that's my identification when I was in my college 20 years ago. I have to have an identification so that I can recall immediately. Okay, N stands for negative, negative charge, so it is automatically a negatively charged ions or the anion. So the reverse one will be automatically the positively charged particles. So it is cation. Okay, something like that. So the letter T is present in the positive. Okay, cut. So T positive, there's letter T in the positive. So that would be also your small identification that particle is a cation. Okay? Do you understand my point? If you don't understand, you should correct me like this. Not correct me, just try to slow down my discussion with you. Okay, sorry because most of my vloggings are not prepared. This is spontaneous and extemporaneous. I don't want to prepare because if you prepare, that's already scripted. I don't want to prepare. Okay, what comes in my mind, I will be able to discuss immediately. That's why, as you observe, the vloggings will take longer time because it was not systematically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not like that. Okay. Sorry, so it's on the spot, verbatim and spontaneous, okay, not prepared. contemporaneous. Okay, so I'll just come to my mind. I'll be able to discuss like this. Okay, dissociation versus ionization. Okay, dissociation, you have to dissociate, meaning not to be attached. Okay, because that is D-I. Okay, like that. So this dissociation, meaning you have to break or you have to detach, something like that. Okay, so in chemistry point of view, you have to detach the elements from an inorganic compound or an organic compound. For example, carbonic acid. What is carbonic acid? Okay, that is H2CO3. Okay, something like that. So carbonate has -2 charge ions, something like that, and H has +1 ions. So if they combined with each other, that could be H2CO3. Okay, I'll never discuss anymore why it become H2CO3 because I discussed it a while ago, right? Clipping with each other and transposing the charges with each other. Okay, like that. When you speak about dissociation, there is an ionic bond. Okay, remember that one. Maybe it will come out in examination, something like that. Blanc is a chemical reaction that involves ionic bond, something like that. A, blah, 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 B, blah, 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 C, blah, 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 D, blah, blah, blah. And your answer will be definitely dissociation. Okay, so if you speak about dissociation, there is an ionic bond exists, okay, for that. Particularly the negatively charged particles and the positively charged particles. So you should input that in your mind also. And that concept is, I gained that when I was in high school. So please, 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 please input the basic concepts, because when you go to college, it could still be there, especially in the board examination. Philippine Regulation Commission Board examination. You have to be alert that you can, absorb the basic concepts of pure science. It could be chemistry, physics, biology, something like that, blah, 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 so and so. May ganun talaga. Planetary science, something like that, or geology, all about pure science, okay? Physics, okay, oh my God. Okay, like that. So that is dissociation, remember that one, okay? Again, dissociation is a chemical reaction that involves ionic bonds. Our best example for that is the table salt. What is the formula of table salt? Again, you have to question me about that, right? NaCl, okay, negatively charged particle, the chloride, -1, and the sodium has +1, and then they will combine to each other. That kind of bond is an ionic bond. Why? From the word ion, I-O-N. There is a negatively charged ion and there is a positively charged ion. That's why it's called ionic bond. So in English, it's very clear. Okay, the root word of ionic is ion. Okay, so blanc is a chemical reaction that involves ionic bond, specifically the negatively charged ion and the positively charged ion, or the positively charged ion cation and the negatively charged anion, something like that. Okay, so that is dissociation. Okay, later I will be able to show an example for that also. Okay, ionization. Still, there's a word in ion, but it's different. Because in ionization reaction, you have to consider the covalent bond. Okay, you remember the covalent bonding, such as the polar covalent bond and non-polar covalent bond in your chemistry. So, this involves the sharing of electrons. It could either be equal sharing of electrons, or it could be an unequal sharing of electrons. Equal sharing of electrons, so all electrons have been shared. And equal electrons sharing or bonding, it's not equal, right? Very common sense, self-explanatory, okay? So the equal sharing of electrons, that is called non-polar covalent bond, okay? Non-polar covalent bond. Okay, and for polar covalent bond, that is unequal sharing of electrons. But this ionization, it doesn't matter whether it is an equal sharing of electrons or sharing of electrons, as long as there is a sharing of electrons. The best example for this is the strong acid. HCl, so that is strong acid. Okay, we have the H plus positive one and the chloride negative one, but it has a 7 electrons in the outermost shell. Do you remember that in your chemistry? Outermost shell, 7 electrons. Okay, those 7 electrons of the chloride will be shared to the hydrogen, and it will produce new ions, something like that. So that is an example of ionization, okay, process or chemical reaction. Okay, then if the question will say like this, give me an example of an ionization reaction. Your best example will be HCl. Okay, H positive plus chloride negative, and then there is a 7 electrons in the outermost shell, and then there will be a sharing of electrons between the H and the chlorides. So the H is very hungry, try to react with the chloride, something like that. Okay, so that's the difference. So putting that in a statement, ionization is a chemical reaction that involves covalent bond. Okay, and it will produce new ions, something like that. Okay, you can now identify what is ionization and what is dissociation. Okay, so if adding energy is just totally the same, it's just adding energy, ionization energy, something like that. Okay, and now a lot of example for that. Okay, this is very important in the chemical equilibrium of chemical reaction. You do still remember about that, especially in the dissociation of gases, acidic or basic, something like that. Okay, so I will discuss a little bit. Okay, my gosh. So in college and in high school, I did not discover that this is at. So what I've learned is just I only memorized, though I understand some, okay, but I understand, but not really totally that when I reviewed, okay, especially that was 20 years ago, okay, so what has been accumulated in my brain is part of it, okay, it's not really that, thorough academic information, it's just only some or partial of it, because as we go in an aging process, our brain retention, especially the information, will not be as good as when we are young, especially when you're college level, high school level. Our brain function is normally, let us say, dissociating. No, not dissociating. What do you call this one? The opposite of declining. Okay, sorry for the word declining, not dissociating. Or the opposite of escalating is declining, right? Escalating. Tama ba ako? Synonyms in English. Okay, escalating or it could be depreciating. Okay, your memory retention will be depreciating as you go aging. Okay, that's why we need to be alert and read some new information in the social media world. That could be textbooks, or that could be books only, any kind of books that you will be able to read. Okay, it adds knowledge to you. Okay, something like that. Okay, well, there's no pentel pen, my gosh. Actually, a lot of example you can distinguish. Okay, I will just introduce to you the basic. Okay, if you said basic, the clue there is OH, hydroxide negative. Okay, if it is acidic, the clue there is H positive, hydrogen ion. Okay, so if it could be combined in a particular compound, then that could be acidic. For example, ascorbic acid. What is the formula of ascorbic acid? Review. Okay, the formula of ascorbic acid, I discussed it already. That is carbon 6 atoms of carbon, 8 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. Okay, and why it is an acidic? Because there's an H for that actually. That is a negative 1. H negative 1. Okay, so for that. Okay, oh sorry, C6H7O6 negative 1. Sorry for that. H is always positive. Okay, like that. So you know the mystery of spontaneous vlogging, because you can really detect if you are really wrong, something like that. It really tests your brain capacity. Whereas if you try to prepare and script it, it looks like perfect when you deliver your, discussion. So there's no such perfect in this contemporary world. It's better to discuss it according to your on-the-spot knowledge and IQ, right? So just like me, I'm discussing and I was wrong somewhere in the middle of the end and I corrected it through analyzation of, it's gonna be like this. Oh no, it's not like that. See, H negative 1. So I analyze immediately that H as a positively charged ion, something like that. So that is a ascorbate. Okay, ascorbate, E-S-C-O-R-B-A-T-E. So that's the clue, ATE, usually the polyatomic ion, ATE. For example, okay, phosphate, sulfate, manganate, oxalate, ascorbate, citrate. Oh, di ba? Ganon. So it ends with ATE, the past tense of it. EAT. The past tense of it is 8. ATE. So that would be the end of the polyatomic ions. Okay? Silicate or ATE. One idea that if ends in ATE, bang, there is a polyatomic ion immediately. Okay? And then you have to add that with the H positive and it will become an acid. Okay? Something like that. Okay? So, for example, nitrate or ATE. Okay? Negative 1. So plus H positive, it will become HNO3. So that is acid. So nitric acid, something like that. So that is combination. Oh my God. Combination reaction. Okay, I discussed already the type of chemical reactions, right? Don't forget that also. Okay. Paano ba ito gawin? I don't have the white blackboard to discuss properly the, the ICE technique for the chemical equilibrium in determining the equilibrium constant in acid and equilibrium constant in base and also in gas, right? Okay, where's my pencil pin? My gosh! Andito na naman tayo sa chemistry vlogging. Okay? Sorry for telling you that. I would like to tell you, if you will take if only, okay, IF, I'm not pushing you to take, okay? If you take chemical engineering, Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, it is a wrong concept that if you are good in chemistry, you will be able to be good at chemical engineering. Chemical engineering is more on mathematics, okay? More on mathematics, higher mathematics with the application of technology and other pure science. Okay. Like that. I will tell you frankly, it's not only chemistry, it's all pure sciences. Okay? So don't equate that if you're good in chemistry, then you will be able to take chemical engineering. No, it's not. Because engineering courses are full of mathematics. Okay? So you can take only BS chemistry. Okay? BS Chem. And after your graduation, you will become chemist. So if you are good in chemistry, but don't take chemical engineering. If you want really, no problem. So most of the times also, if you are good in chemistry, there are other students also that will be good at mathematics, okay? Or average, okay? Like me, I'm not good at mathematics, but I can still develop, okay, an average level of mathematics. It was pulled off, it was pulled up. Because I'm not good at mathematics, but I'm good also a little bit in science. That's why it's pulled up like that. And, the power, as I told you a while, of the memory, again, the power of memory, memorization, the power of the analysis and comprehension, the way you understand the topic. Of course, you will memorize and be sure you understand what you memorize. Of course, okay? Number 3, the power of adequate preparation. That's only 3 technique in passing examination. There's no other thing. Okay? The other thing will be prayers. Okay, from the Lord God, because they give us strength. That would be okay. But God said also, if you will never do anything, then you will never also pass, something like that. Or it could be a fate. Fate, F-A-T-E, kapalaran. Even though how hard you try, even though how so many things you studied, but it will never come out in the examination. Or it could be you'll do the panic situation and examination. Even though you memorized a lot, you studied a lot, but it was lost at a sudden moment, a quick moment, like this, it's lost everything. So that's also, a factor, okay? But if you will just try to have, what do you call this one? Thorough and adequate memorization. Okay, for me, that's my number one. Number two, the power of analysis and comprehension. Okay, number three, the adequate preparation, something like that. You don't have to take the examination if you are not prepared. Okay, even though how intelligent you are, because there are trivial questions, especially science, because science is an experimental subject. It's a trial and error subject. Year by year, it will change. There are a lot of discoveries in the present times that was not reflected in the textbooks a long time ago. Okay, you understand the point? This is a scientific method. Every second, every minute, every hour, every month, there's a new discovery that will be formulated. Okay, something like that. Especially after 2023, there's a new element that will be discovered. Someone else in Africa. So that's gonna be like this. Science is a continuous evolution of experimental, like, okay, like that. So you can never, di tayo magkumpiyansa, something like that, okay? Okay. So, okay. Do this. Okay, where's the scratch paper? My gosh. Pasensya na po, wala kasi akong whiteboard. Okay. Okay. So this is it, okay? Equilibrium. What do you mean by equilibrium? June, Sotero, what is equilibrium? The word equilibrium, the root word is equal. Okay, so that is equilibrium, okay? Meaning the state of reaction of the reactant is equal to the state of the reaction of the product. It could be the rate of the reaction of the reactant is equal to the rate of reaction of the product. But stated more theoretically, based on the scientists' proven law and theories, concepts, it should be meeting the law of conservation of mass and the law of conservation of energy. What that law about? This is basic in chemistry, that the total number of atoms in the reactants always equal to the total number of atoms in the product. Or it could stated be like this: the total number of concentration will be on the reactants equal to the product, something like that. Okay? And the total amounts of the product is equal to the total amounts of the reactant, but not in moles. You know moles? M-O-L-E. This is very tricky, okay? Because in chemistry, like this, what is the unit of a substance? What is to us an amount of a substance? The answer will be mole, M-O-L-E. For example, there's a question, fill in the blanks. Blank is a mole of is an amount of a substance. Your answer will be mole. Or blank is a unit of a substance. The answer will be mole, M-O-L-E. Okay? I'm just telling you that if there is a filling in the blank examination, usually in chemistry it will be stated like this: blank is a unit of an amount of a substance. That is mole. Okay, but in law of the conservation of mass, it's not mole that is being equal. That is the number of atoms. Okay, it's not the mole. You will never say the number of moles in the reactant is equal to the number of moles in the product. It's not, because moles, if you add it, it will never be equal, because there's still the, the H2O, like the subscript, okay? And because the atoms will be the coefficient and the subscript, you will multiply that one, it will become the number of atoms. But the mole will never consider that. Only the side of the H2O. For example, 1 mole of H2O, okay? But there is 2 atoms of hydrogen, because 2 times 1. I will never say 2 moles of hydrogen. Okay, that's a clear difference, right? You will say there will be 2 atoms of hydrogen, but it is not 2 moles of hydrogen. Only 1 mole of hydrogen gas. Okay, this is very, very. 1 mole of a certain compound is equal to the molar mass. It's not also 1 atom of the molecular weight is equal to the molar mass. It's not also like that. We need to identify that basic, because as you go on the higher sciences, it will be, expected that you know that concept. Even though how difficult it is, you can understand really at least by comprehension. Okay? You will say, 1 mole of, for example, sucrose. O, dito na naman tayo. Sir, what is the formula of sucrose? It is 12 atoms of carbon. Okay? Like that. H22, 22 atoms of hydrogen, and 11 atoms of oxygen. So carbon 12, H22, O11. That is sugar. Sugar could either be sucrose, fructose, something like that. Okay? But the glucose is another thing. That is 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and oxygen, 6 atoms. So basically, the glucose is more on the carbohydrates formula. The basic carbohydrates formula. Okay? Like this. Okay? So usually in chemical engineering or in BS chemistry, we will just say that C6H12O6 to make it simpler. Okay, but actually, if we are going to say that in a complete manner, we will say 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen is the sugar. Sugar in our kitchen. Okay, the refined sugar or the brown sugar, it is the formula. Okay, if you try to heat that in a kettle and then it will decompose, the CO2 will be released. Okay, if you try to experiment that one, go to the kitchen, okay, and it will produce CO2 and H2O, something like that, because that is combustion process. Okay, by adding oxygen gas through exothermic reaction, application of heat. Exothermic, not endo. Exothermic reaction is a reaction that heat is being applied to the particular inorganic compound or an organic compound. And this glucose, C6H12O6, which is the blood sugar, remember that one, it is the sugar found in the blood. Again, glucose is the sugar found in the blood, because usual examination have like this also. Blank is a sugar found in the blood. A, sucrose. B, fructose. C, maltose. D, glucose. Your answer will be glucose. Don't think of another thing, okay? Like that, blah, blah, blah. It will trick you out also in the examination, but it's never discussed it's discussed, but not totally serious, because they are focusing on the problem solving, especially in college. Not on the theoretical aspects. They will just teach you a little bit because it is self-explanatory, of course. Okay, but they'll never go into detailed for the basic concepts, and they will never tell the systematized way of doing this, like that, blah, blah, blah. Because I think they were also tired with their still in the students before, or they hit the target of their lesson also. Because if you try to discuss everything, it will consume 1 hour. Because subject 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes. And if you try to be detailed, then your time will be consumed also. There are a lot of also of reasons for that. Not only that intentionally done, that only that it could not be discussed thoroughly and properly, the theories and concepts. Okay, there are, for example, what is the lightest element in the universe? Okay, don't tell me it was discussed. No, it was not discussed. But if you read a lot of books of chemistry, you read, you can answer that one. The lightest element in the universe is hydrogen, something like that. What is the most abundant element in the universe? Oh, it's oxygen. Okay. What is the heaviest element? Something like that. Oh, you will try to discover the molecular weight, because that is heaviest element. But for me, I think it's uranium, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody can tell me it is uranium that has the highest molecular weight and is the most heaviest element in the periodic table? I'm not really sure, because that was 20 years ago. Okay, uranium, I think so, not plutonium, because this is a radioactive material somewhere in the bottom of the, after the transition elements, that one in the periodic table, there are artificially prepared elements and there are radioactive elements somewhere out there. Okay, a lot. Something like that. Okay, so it was not discussed. You will be the one to go to the library and see for yourself those theory and basic concepts, because in a board examination, a lot of basic concepts will come out. Okay, and it was not thoroughly discussed because we are focusing on the problem solving too much in engineering. Okay, especially in mathematics, integration, okay, differential calculus, and we lose focus on the basic one. Okay, for example, density is equals to mass over volume, area is equals to pi d squared over 4, area, surface area, right? Like that, you will lose focus on that. Okay, something like that. Okay, and also the quadratic equation, you know, remember the quadratic equation, it will be there always. Okay, in the so don't focus on the higher one because they will not input it a lot in the examination. That will just only trick you out. Okay, because you think that's very difficult, but actually it is easier or average, something like that. Okay, that's my tips. Okay, now going back to what's the topic for now? I forgot. Okay, equilibrium, right? Equilibrium. Okay, so this is it. Equilibrium. Balik ka sa equilibrium. Okay. Steady state na siya ha, steady state chemical reaction. So, input is equals to output. Okay, assuming there will be no recovery, something like that, okay? In the overall balance, OMB, in the, what do you call that one? In the mass transfer? Or in unit operation, something like that. Okay, so it would be equal automatically. The rate of the reaction of the reactants is equal to the rate of the reaction of the products. Something like that, okay? So if I have, for example only ha, there are a lot of examples, okay? Ammonium hydroxide, okay? Ammonium hydroxide. So if you love chemistry and you want chemistry-related subject, then memorize all the polyatomic ions and memorize the most common elements in the periodic table, especially the atomic weight, okay? Atomic weight is simply the AMU. Do not be confused because sometimes some examination using AMU only, atomic mass unit. AMU, that is only atomic weight. The word only are just, you know, being trick you out. Okay, and there's a problem sometimes using the AMU of the following, like, and you will be also confused because you are use the word, you are frequently hearing the word atomic weight. It's just the same. Okay, just like solubility and concentration, it's just the same. Okay, do not be confused for the term. Technique also in problem solving, okay, like that. So ammonium hydroxide, so that is basic because of the word OH. So first you will master the identification first, if it is acidic or basic, like that, blah blah blah, so and so. Okay, what is our equilibrium, you know, constant for this? So equilibrium, the constant will be given K always in science or in chemistry. K. Letter K, small letter K, something like that, okay? Just like in the boiling point elevation constant, right? Kb, okay? Small letter K and small letter B. B stands for boiling point, okay? And also in the freezing point depression constant, okay, that is also Kf. F is freezing, something like that. So that's only identification, letters identification, so that you can really understand what it's meant and it can easily be recalled, something like that. So KEQ. So we will change only the AQ to base or key, okay, like that. See, if I will put KB, it will also confuse the constant of the boiling point elevation. So never mind, okay, just use the KB. This is equilibrium on the basic. This one, KB, okay. Equilibrium, okay, constant of the basic, KB, okay. Do not confuse with the other one, huh? Okay. Just focus on this topic. Okay, my gosh. Oh. Equal to like this. Now, the first thing to do, since this is a basic, you have to, dissociate this one, splitting this one into ammonium, positive, and hydroxide. Okay? Okay, that's the first procedure. Okay? Splitting the out to NH4 ammonium positive plus OH negative. Okay? OH negative. Okay, and splitting the out, so that is dissociation. Do not forget to put the charges because charges also will be in equilibrium, meaning it will be added and the answer will be 0. That's why it will become a compound because there's no charges anymore. It's 0. Okay? That's the purpose. Like that. Okay, NH4 positive plus OH negative. Now, after that one, The next step is you balance the equation. Okay, in chemistry, chemical reactions we balance always all the time after producing the products. Okay, you should balance the number of atoms. Okay, not the number of moles. Okay, like that. Check one by one. Oh, hydrogen, like this. Okay. Do not be tired because this is really the process. Okay. Hydrogen for the reactant is 4. Okay. Hydrogen and the other, no, 4 plus 1, sorry. See? 4 plus 1 is 5. It can really think. Okay. Because you get mistake sometimes. So it's the power of on-the-spot discussion. Okay, H in the other side will be 4 plus 1 also, and it could become 5. Okay, hydrogen. Okay, like that. If you balance the chemical reaction focused on the elemental substance, do not put the diatomic. You know the atomic, the H2 subscript, you don't put that one because you're considering only the element H. Okay, when you put the balancing. Because it's only existing H2 gas when it vaporize, something like that. But in a normal state, it is H positive. Okay, do not use the H2 during the balance equation, only in the products like that. Okay, understand? Okay, nitrogen. Okay. Nitrogen is 1, and nitrogen also is 1, something like that. Okay? This one. Okay, guys. Nitrogen like this. Okay. And then, oxygen is the last. Actually, you can balance any element. As long as you know the procedure of balancing the equation, it's not an issue where it comes first, really. Okay? Oxygen is equals to 1. Oxygen is equals to 1. And you total the number of atoms in the reactant, in the products, like that. You see? Okay? Let's go to establish the law of conservation of mass. Total number of atoms in the product. Okay? Actually, this is not discussed in high school or in college. This is only my strategy so that I may know that it is in balanced order. Okay? Because I just found out lately, 20 years ago, when I talk after chemical engineering, I found out if you try to balance the number of atoms, you will detect that you have wrong somewhere else in your balancing. Okay? Because before, no like that, no idea like, because the theory was lacking. Okay, like total number of atoms in reactant is equals to total. Okay, of the product. By the way, what is an atom? Oh, muna na siya diha karon. I did not memorize what is the definition, but based on what I remembered, atom is the smallest particle in the nucleus. Something like that, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, That was 20 years ago, okay? Total number of atoms in a reactant is equals to total number of atoms of product. Okay, so hydrogen, charot, ganon. 5 plus 1 plus 1, okay? 5 plus 1 plus 1. So 7. Okay? 7 atoms in the reactant and 7 atoms in the product. So, bingo! That is perfect. So, you can automatically prove that your equation has fully satisfied the law of conservation of mass and the law of conservation of energy in chemistry. Okay? Like that. Or else, it will not become a law if it is not equal. Okay? Something like that. So, the product first, okay, in the equilibrium constant, it equal to the dissociation of each element in the numerator. Numerator has a taas. Kani siya ba? Di ba nakuha ka sa KB? Then your numerator will be the elements that has been dissociated or the products. Put that in the numerator. Okay? So NH4 positive, something like that. My gosh. Okay, don't be afraid because this will be like this always. Only give you one example and the rest will follow. Something like that. And OH negative, something like that. Okay. Okay, like this. And then ammonium hydroxide will be at the denominator. Okay. So this will be like this. The equilibrium constant of the basic ammonium hydroxide is equal to the ammonium positive times hydroxide negative over which is our reactant. Okay, like this. Then if we try to solve that with concentrations, involving concentrations and solubility and the degree of the dissociation, now you will let X, let alpha, again, algebra will comes in. Okay? Even though this is chemistry, again, the algebra will be always all the time. You have to let X, the number of concentration of the reactant, okay, that will react to produce ammonium positive plus OH negative, and let X also the number of ammonium that will be produced and OH negative that will be produced. Okay, now the ice theory, oh my gosh, ice theory talaga siya, will be achieved. Oh my gosh, I have a Carabao English, sorry for that. Okay, Carabao English. Okay, we have the ice. Okay. Di man ilang gini ninyo ang ice, muna na siya. Okay. Ice. I stand for the initial. C stands for the change. E stands for the equilibrium. Oh, this is the way how to concentration of the reactants and the products in the dissociation of gases and dissociation of acidic solution and basic solution, something like that. So that it could be easy for you, there is an acronym behind. Okay, like that. Okay, so since ammonium hydroxide, will state again the reaction. Okay, ammonium hydroxide. My gosh. Okay. Okay. But if you are not ready to suffer, suffer power. If you're not ready to face the consequence, never take chemical engineering. Okay. For me, that's very difficult. Okay. In H4. Okay. But if you love, then take it. No problem. Okay. It's enjoyable. Either. Though you hate it, you don't like it, but somewhere along the middle of your course, you will enjoy it, especially in the laboratory, something like that. You will see a lot of colors involved, pink, orange, and then you will see in your naked eye each other like that. So it's very enjoyable really, and then you will try to compute the number of mass, and then you have to identify what element of that, what that element that has a color of like this. Okay, especially in the qualitative chemistry, you have to determine what element is that. Okay, you're given the liquid or the concentration, but you don't know what is inside the flask. Flask or in the beaker. Okay, the instructor will just give you and identify what element is that. See, it's very difficult, something like that. Okay, and you will enjoy because you do the different analysis. It could be a titration analysis, okay, the gravimetric analysis, or it could be the photometric analysis. Meron ba ganun? Yeah, photometry. Okay, like that, like this. A lot of analysis is only an example. Okay, OH negative. Okay. Like this. And then, okay, so of course we let X as the concentration of ammonium hydroxide. Okay, like this. So we start by I, diba, initial. Okay, when we speak about initial, our time is equal to 0. Okay, there is no reaction yet, or there's no dissociation yet. So this is I at time equal to 0. Okay, it's just like an algebra, right? Something like this. At t equal to 0. So, like that. Okay. Then given here, we assume that it's 1. Always 1, if there's no such given, then automatically 1, something like that. Okay? Don't use any number, but use 1 only because it's the basis of calculation. Okay? Don't headache. Don't put headache in your mind. Automatically 1. If there's no concentration initially given solution or basic solution, then put 1 immediately. Okay? Ammonium hydroxide initially 1. Our concentration could either be a molality, because there's a lot of concentration, right? As we discussed a while ago, it could be a molality, a normality, molarity. Okay, these 3 are just solubility. Okay, the concentration of the solute that will dissolve in a given solvent in the solution. The word dissolve is very important. Dissolve, D-I-S-S-O-L-V, or else if they don't dissolve, that is not a solution, because that's insoluble. Okay, something like that. So the word dissolve is the K term for solubility, because the solute will always dissolve in the solvent in a given solution, something like that. If it will not dissolve, that is not a solution. That is insoluble. Okay, so it is not applied in this topic. Okay, because you cannot segregate that one during the analysis, something like that. Okay, for example, oil plus water, you can never do you cannot apply here in this dissociation. Okay, so 1 like this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ganun lang siya ka-simply. Okay, di ba? Ganon. Okay, 1. And then, ang ammonium positive is 0. Because initially, we don't know yet. Right? If we don't know anything, automatically 0, of course. Okay, because that is the concentration that we will be able to predict somewhere along in the chemical reaction during the process of dissociation reaction, something like that. Okay, and then ice, right? C. This is all talking for the change already. So if change, it could either be a physical change and a chemical change. You remember that in chemistry? Physical change. What is a physical change? What is a chemical change? But we don't have to discuss that one. That is the change. So, technically, this is a chemical change because it's talking about concentration, of course. Okay? So, the change we'll let the X as our change of the concentration of ammonium hydroxide. Okay, something like that. Okay. Now, we let X, right, on the ammonium hydroxide. What will happen to ammonium hydroxide when it will be during the process of the chemical reaction? Okay, remember the process of Le principle, you know? This is a theory a long time ago, 20 years ago. Okay, based on my memory retention, Le principle. Whenever a stress is applied to a system of equilibrium, the equilibrium will shift in such a way to reduce the stress. Something like that. Okay? This abides Le principle theory. Okay? So, if this is gonna be starting ammonium hydroxide, so of course, this will be a deduction of the concentration. Deduction. So if we deduct something, if we depreciate something, though we let X, then it should be negative. Normally, because it will not become 1 naturally, which is the initial concentration. It will be negative X, something like that. Okay? Okay? Like that. Negative X is the change. Why negative? Because ammonium hydroxide, in chemical reaction, it will become less. Due to it will convert to various products. Normally, the concentration will change. It will be reduced. Chatillier's principle, something like that. Okay, so negative X. Okay. It looks like an algebra, right? Okay. The products will be ammonium, though we let X as a concentration. So, it should be X positive. Because when they produced, there will be an increase in concentration. So that is X positive. Okay? Not negative. Okay? Because it will produce. The more it will produce, the more it will become richer. So it will be positive. Okay? Like that. Kung samba, nihatag na ako siyang kwarta, madatot jud ko. So I'll be positive, something like that. Not negative. Wako kuha og kwarta. Nga sila principle aning chemical reaction. Okay? Ang idunit, ammonium hydroxide. O, ang ammonium hydroxide na ayuda, nang hatag siyang 12K. Okay? Don't tell me kung ihatag siyang 12K, maiyaha pa din ang 12K. So dili gid iyaha ngayang ayuda, mahatag niya ni ammonium hydroxide yung din kuan, hydroxide, ang ayuda, o tag 6,000 sila sa ayuda. O simple, yung ano sa siyang principle sa chemical reaction. Okay? Very clear ha? Bisaya na dito siya, in fairness. Okay. Positive X and positive X. Okay. Now, equilibrium. Andiyan na naman tayo. Ito, equilibrium. So, ayos na siya, di ba? Ay, nakakaloka ito. Ay, ice daw. Sorry, nalubat ko. I have to take charge. Take charge. I have to charge the mobile phone for a while. It's a portrait. Landscape portrait, something like, oh my gosh. Hello guys, thank you for listening, thank you for your patience. Okay, this time is not singing. Okay, I'm done with singing last Friday and Saturday, and I have to do the discussion of some topics of chemistry. Okay, like that. Let's exercise our brain, right? Not only the physical aspects or the anatomy of our body system, but let's okay? Brain talaga. Oh my gosh. Ganun. Di ba? Oh, there's tension. Oh my God. Tension talaga? Yes. Oh. Hi, Dung Kaloy for watching. Romeo for watching. Thank you so much for sparing your time with me. Jeric Escobar, thank you so much. Mr. Singh Abubakar, okay. Digoma, and this, thank you so much for watching. Ika Bacaro, this is academic information, okay. Not the singing galore or whatever, okay. This is testing our, our sleeping brain. Charot! Because as they say, learning is a continuous process. Okay? And through learning, there will be an information. Okay? A variable information. Variable talaga siya. Yes, of course. Equilibrium na ta. Sige, go. Gosh, may ganon. What if I will try to do this in a landscape because, I'm afraid that my mobile phone will be, defective because I don't have money to buy a new mobile phone. Really, sure, 100%. Okay, portrait lang. Sa mucho kayo, fairness.